Basquiat. Basquiat. Jean-Michel Basquiat. Hey Tivvies, it's Psychic Bob. It is so rockin' to be back with you. Well, have I got a treat for you today. Look what Psychic Bob has now in his art collection. What is that? Oh my God. Do you guys recognize this? Now I know some of my art aficionados in the crowd will know who this is. This is a large 24 by 24 painting. It is a Jean-Michel Basquiat. Okay, I gotta be honest. It's not an original. It's a repro, but it's actually done on canvas, like a real painting. If you look at here, you can see the canvas. See how it waves? And it's actually mounted on wood, like an actual painting. It's actually a print on canvas of a Basquiat. But it's the size of the original, and it's like having a real Basquiat in my house. Isn't that awesome? Now, some of you may know who this famous Basquiat is, but for those of you who don't, let me tell you about him. He was an amazing artist. He was born in 1960, and unfortunately he died in 1987 or 88, I forget, I think 88. But he was an amazing, what we call neo-expressionist. You have to understand, during the 1970s, minimalism was all the art. And many of you have seen my paintings. I do a lot of minimalist paintings. In fact, let's just have a little clip of minimalism. To really appreciate Basquiat's work, you have to understand the time period. In the 1970s, minimalism was all the rage. This is one of my paintings. It's called Red Bullion, and it is done in the abstract minimalist style. You'll see how simple and plain it is, not very complex. But this was what most people classified as modern art in the 1970s. Now, coming into the 1980s, this was considered what was, as I said, the definition of modern art. Jean-Michel Basquiat changed the whole landscape of art because he brought in a new type of art. Instead of abstract expressionism, he brought in nouveau-expressionism or neo-expressionism. So let's discuss that. The neo-expressionism took art to a whole new level because, again, it employed forms and subject matter that was absent in the previous decade's art. Jean-Michel Basquiat was originally actually a graffiti artist. He was very poor, very down and out, lived on the streets, was homeless for a while. And he started doing graffiti art. Well, his graffiti art was so good it got people's attentions. And then he started getting invited to art exhibits and galleries. And people started looking at his work. And anyways, he ended up getting some major art exhibits and he just took off. Now this painting that I have in my collection is known as Baptism, and it dates to 1982. And the theme is, I believe this is like John the Baptist, and he's doing baptisms. This might be called the baptism of Christ. I can't remember. I think this is actually supposed to be Jesus. But his style, as you see, was very primitive, very raw. And from that rawness, you can feel a real energy in his works. Now, I'm a big Basquiat fan. It seems to me that either you love him or you hate him. There's not a lot of middle ground with this art. I love it because I love the pure raw energy, the expression. As a psychic, I can feel his vibe. I can get it. And you'll notice his amazing use of paint. He painted in all sort of mediums, acrylics and oils. And he also used like pastels in his painting. Like see the outline here, the reds? These were actually done, I believe, in pastels, oil pastels. So he mixed a lot of mediums. Sometimes he used magic marker and even crayons in his art. But as you look at it, and we'll just go a scan over this. As I said, I believe this is supposed to be John the Baptist who was going on baptizing. Notice how the teeth, he has a very stylized kind of a grill-like mouth, you know. Very, very beautiful. And notice these marks here. These are supposed to be the water of the Jordan River. And I believe this is Christ here. Now, notice how he's got the crown of thorns. A lot of times when he portrayed Jesus, he used a crown of thorns. Jean-Michel Basquiat's artwork was inspired by his life on the streets, as well as his unique and Christian and voodoo Haitian upbringing. He was raised in a home. His father was from Haiti, and his mother was, I believe, Puerto Rican. And so he came from a mixed race. But he had a mixture of Afro-American, Caribbean, Latin culture. And he made amazing, amazing works. So this is my newest piece in my collection. Anyways, I could talk for 5 or 6 hours on Basquiat, but I'll encourage you to do some research on him. But to help get you started, I'm going to put some pictures of Basquiat up here and some of his artwork. So check this out. So many of you have been writing and saying how much you enjoy learning about art and seeing my paintings. So I thought I would reveal to you today another painting that I've recently created. Check this out. All right, get ready for the big reveal. Here is my newest painting. It's called One Red Thread. And let's take a look at that. Let's just zoom in a little bit on this. This is done on canvas 20 by 24, and it's done in acrylics. Now I have a base under here of silver metallic, and then I've put some white over it and created kind of a hazy effect. And then we have here in pastels done the threads, okay? So this is a blue thread, and then if you look within it, there's one red thread that's tangled up. Can you imagine if you were like a seamstress or something and somebody said, oh, can you stitch that in a red thread, and you go into your thread basket and find your red thread, but look what it's tangled in. Now, something that may be interesting to you to know about this artwork is that each of these threads were done with one continuous movement. I did not pick up the pastel, but I started here. This was the beginning of the red thread, and then it wove through the whole thing. So as you can see, it's kind of a complex piece. Now, what's interesting is, and a lot of people have said this about my thread drawings, is that they at first they look up and say, oh, that's a bunch of chaos. But if you actually study the work, I think you'll discover that there's actually a flow and a harmony within this. The blue thread also started, here's the beginning of the blue thread. See, there's the end, and it starts, it loops around, and then it goes into this tangled drama. And this was done without picking up at all the instrument, the pastel. So there you go. So it's a combination of pastel, oil pastels, and acrylic. And this one I signed. A lot of people are asking me to sign my canvases on the front. I generally don't sign a lot of my abstract on the front because I think it takes away, but this is one of the paintings where I thought a signature works okay. So as you can see, it's signed Bob Hickman, July 2019. But this is called One Red Thread. And there's the end of the red thread. So it started way up here, and it wove through all of that, and it comes out down here. And the blue one, which started up here, wove all through that and came out down here. So though at first you might say this is a weird painting, which it might be a little weird, it actually has a form and a harmony and a rhythm to it that I think is kind of cool. So you may disagree, and that's okay. It may not be for you. You know, as I always tell people, you know, you're not going to like everything I do, and I'm not offended if you say, well, that's not my cup of tea. You know, but there'll be some people out there who will really get this and enjoy it and be fascinated with it. So I have that hanging on my wall, and it's right next to yellow biomorph, which you guys have seen. I offered that as a print a few weeks ago on my website. And I have it hanging here right next to my new Basquiat. Somebody recently came in my house and they're like, oh my God, you've got a real Basquiat. It looks so real. People think I have a real Basquiat. You know, if this were a real Basquiat, that'd be like about literally like $100 million. I think one of his recent paintings sold for something like 110 or 120 million. Mine is a copy. Want everybody to know, don't break into Bob's house and steal it. It's not a real Basquiat, but it certainly looks real, doesn't it? Anyways, I'm having so much fun with my artwork. So there's yellow biomorph. There's one, this is called One Red Thread. Anyways, do you guys want me to offer this as a print? I may make this a print soon. Anyways, tell me if you like that enough to have a print of it. And then a Basquiat. Now, I can't reproduce the Basquiat for a print. I don't have the legal rights, so we can't do that. I'll only be reproducing my work. This canvas, by the way, is 20 by 24. See, this one is 24 by 24. This one's 20 by 24, as is that one, 20 by 24. So that's the size for you, okay? So there you go. One red thread. And guys, here I'm standing with my other new artwork, Biomorph 1952. And if you like this, remember you can get this at my website for free, a copy of it, with instructions how to download it. And this is only going to be available for free for a limited time. So if you go to my website, it's only going to be up till Saturday. So this Saturday, which is actually, I guess, tomorrow, is the last day that Biomorph 1952 will be available. If you don't get it tomorrow, you're going to miss out. I'm making these limited editions so that the people who really value it will get it, and we'll move on to new artwork. So in the future, I may re-release this, but at that time, I'll probably charge for it. So if you like this and want to get your free print, get it now. This is done also in acrylics on canvas board. And there you can see. The inspiration behind this one was the 1950s biomorphic movement. During the 1950s, biomorphic images became very much in vogue. And so there was a lot of freeform art in the art world at that time that carried over into furniture and home decor. So if you study the 1950s and you're familiar with that era, you'll recognize that style in this. That was the inspiration behind this work. This size is a small size. It's 8 inches by 10 inches, a small canvas. So, but that is available to you. Okay, so make sure to get that. Okay, tomorrow is the last day this will be available at my website. Go to PsychicBob.com. Oh my gosh, guys, look what just came in the mail. I'm so excited. I ripped the package open. I got another Basquiat here. Check this out. This is a little one. It's like a 9 by 13 or 10 by 13, I think. Anyways, a little smaller one. But I ordered this from China a few months ago, and I've forgotten about it. Well, anyways, the package just came, and so I ripped it open. I couldn't remember what it was. I was like, oh my God, I forgot about it. Do you ever buy stuff from China? It takes forever. This is another Basquiat. This is what he called his self-portrait. I'm just crazy about Basquiat. This is also done on canvas. You can see it's a thing, and it's framed. In fact, I'll take it off the wall. It's a little one. I can lift it up for you. I just put it up here. But you can buy these Basquiat repros, and they're done literally on canvas, on wood, just like actual painting, except instead of being hand painted, it's actually printed, high quality, like laser print. But it looks just like a real painting. So that is my new Basquiat. What do you think of that, huh? It's called Self-Portrait of an Artist. Yay! I am so psyched. Woo! Tell you, I might end up filling my house up with Basquiat. I just love his work. I'm so sad. By the way, I forgot to tell you about his passing. He unfortunately died in 1988. It was 1988, at the age of 27. He's part of that infamous 27 Club. It seems like a lot of famous stars die at 27. And unfortunately, Basquiat, in his rise to fame, started enjoying the good life a little too much. He got into drugs, which really makes me sad because he was so brilliant as a person. And he accidentally overdosed on heroin. It wasn't suicide, it was an accidental overdose. He was at the top of his game. He became personal friends with Andy Warhol, and he and Warhol did an exhibit together as well. Anyways, it's really tragic about his death because he really rose from obscurity and poverty to great success. And his paintings are still shown all over the world. And I remember back in the 80s, he was all the thing, all the rage. It was Jean-Michel Basquiat. And I remember his death too. It was very sad. None of us could believe it, you know. Andy Warhol had just died a few months before. And you know, I loved Andy Warhol too. And then Basquiat died. And they were friends, so both of them are no longer with us. But that being said, we still have the legacy of his wonderful art. And I'm so thankful that there are companies who are reproducing it so that it can be in people's homes. I could never afford a real Basquiat. But I can have these wonderful reproductions, you know. And Basquiat's art still lives. Isn't this wonderful? Look at the handprint here. See, it's like a hand. I love that. This is his face. Now, he had really cool hair. As you may remember in some of the pics there, his hair was kind of spiky and he had dreadlocks. And this is his profile. See, it says on it, back view. He used to write words on his canvases. Composite. There's another hand down here. Notice the brush strokes, the texture of the paint. That looks like about like me when I'm dancing, doing my hand job. Like, yeah. I love this. So there you go. Now I tell you, it's funny that I have my Biomorph 1952 hanging here next to Basquiat. And I was just looking at this, I thought, now isn't that my lifelong dream? Wouldn't it be so cool if one of my actual paintings was hung in a museum next to a Basquiat? Now that would be like the ultimate dream for me, to actually have my work displayed in the same museum as Basquiat, but especially if it was along beside it. And people be walking along and go, oh, there's a Basquiat. And then they'll say, oh, that's a Psychic Bob. Well, maybe they won't say that's a Psychic Bob, but they'll say, that's an interesting painting, wonder who that is. But they'll know Basquiat. Well, guys, I'm going to keep this video short today. I wanted just to come and spend a few minutes with you. The last 2 days, we had really intensive training videos or psychic education videos. Yesterday, we talked about the mystical red thread bracelet. I explained all about that, the history, how to use it, you know, what it means, all of that. So if you didn't see that, check that out. It's in the queue right before this video. And the day before that, we did the mystical evil eye. So you got to see that as well. So if you didn't see either of those videos, please catch up on them. They're kind of long videos, but there's a lot of information in them. And I think you'll get a lot out of them. So anyways, I just wanted to spend a few minutes today with you, talk about something creative and fun. And I hope you've enjoyed seeing my latest artworks and my new Basquiats and how much fun I'm having with them. Well, guys, listen, keep it here at Spirit Channel. Help me out. Like this video, favorite it, share it with your friends, hit subscribe, be part of our channel. We'd love you to be here. You guys are best. I love you. Listen, hit subscribe, be here. Hang with us. We'll be back here tomorrow, Saturday. What's Saturday? Oh, Saturday Seance. That's right. You don't want to miss it. We'll see you then. Till tomorrow, may you all always blessed be.